Hello, my name is Laura and today we are going to be doing a little 30-minute hip opening flow just to help relax our hips a little bit. I know for me I hold a lot of tension in my hips and I've always found that practicing on the hips can be a little bit emotional too, but I promise today there'll be no tears. We're just going to release a little bit of tension in there, hopefully help ourselves relax that lower spine and get ourselves nice and relaxed. For me it's evening time. So I'm winding down for the day now. It's the perfect kind of practice to do that if you're feeling the same, if you've maybe had a little bit of a hectic day and you just want to wind things down. So, to start with, we shouldn't need any props for this, but I am going to use a pillow to start with, just to rest my head on the pillow here, help myself get a little bit comfier on the mat. So, I invite you to do the same if you have got a pillow or perhaps a bolster, or maybe a rolled up blanket. Anything like that should do the trick. So coming to lie down on your mat. Good. And here I invite you to place the soles of the feet together and allow the knees to fall apart here. So straight away we're coming into a bit of a hip opening pose here. This is called cobbler pose. But we're lying down. So we're supporting the head on a pillow if you have one. You can also support the knees here if you want to place a pillow underneath each knee, or perhaps a rolled up blanket under each knee. Whatever you need to get yourself nice and comfortable. Having the hands maybe resting on the belly here, or maybe on the mat beside you. And just allow the breath to settle. Tucking the chin in towards the chest ever so slightly, really lengthening out the spine here. Taking one big inhale through the nose and sighing the breath out the mouth. Good, let's do that again. Be as loud as you like with the exhales, particularly good if you're practicing at home. There's no reason to be ashamed or embarrassed. Good, one last time. We'll deepen the breath a little bit here as we inhale. Let's count to 4 as we inhale and exhale. So I'll count you in to start with. Exhaling out the breath to start with here. When you're ready, inhaling through the nose. Inhale 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale 1, 2, 3, 4. Continue on this rhythm here. Allowing the breath to rise and fall. Taking 2 more rounds wherever you are. Good. Slowly allow the breath to return to its normal pace here. Gently closing the knees here like a book, holding each up outside of each leg. Gently bringing the knees back in towards each other. Let's hug the knees in towards the chest. Have a little rock from side to side here. Good. If you are resting your head on a pillow, just gently remove that pillow as we win a nice flat spine against the mat here. So dropping that pillow off towards the side. And then keeping the right knee in towards the chest, let's drop the left foot down onto the mat. And then with that right ankle, we're placing it on the outside, on the top of that left knee. Pushing that right knee away with the right hand. Again, tucking the chin in towards the chest here. Let's lengthen out the spine. Staying here if that's enough for you, or if you'd like a little bit more, lifting that left leg, bending into the left knee. As you feel that stretch down the right IT band and into that right glute, pushing open that right knee with the right elbow. Good. Releasing that left leg here. Uncrossing that right foot, replacing that back down onto the mat. Let's take that little stretch on the other side. So the left leg comes to rest on top of that right knee. You're pushing the left knee open with the left hand. Now when I say pushing, we're not really yanking that left leg away from us. We're just applying a little bit of pressure to help you feel that stretch coming into that left hip. Staying here if that's enough for you, or if you'd like a little bit more, lifting that right knee, taking a hold of the back of the right thigh, bringing that right foot, the right knee in towards the chest a little bit more, pushing open the left knee with the left elbow. Again, nice and gently here. If at any point it doesn't feel good, then just back right off. Good. Releasing that right leg back down onto the mat. Let's uncross that left leg. Planting both of the feet onto the mat now. Bringing them a little bit closer to the tailbone here, a little bit closer to the butt. Let's take the hands onto the mat, the palms face down. Making sure you continue to look up towards the ceiling here. We don't want to turn the head. We're pushing through the hands and the feet as you inhale to curl through that lower spine, lifting up the hips, coming to rest on the upper back. Inhale to grow tall. As you exhale, rolling back down the spine, lowering yourself, bringing that lower back to rest onto the mat again. So we're coming into some glute bridges here. Inhaling to lift the hips, lifting the glutes, squeezing those glutes here, keeping them engaged, keeping that core engaged. Exhale as you lower down the spine. Good, moving with your breath now. Inhaling to rise. Exhaling to lower down. Inhaling to rise, exhaling to lower, inhaling to rise. So maybe you're moving a little bit quicker than me, or maybe you're a little bit slower. Neither's right or wrong. Just connecting that breath and body movement here. If this is enough for you, you continue in this movement, or if you'd like to add a little bit more in, as you inhale, you can lift the arms up and overhead, coming to land behind you. As you exhale, you're lowering the arms back down as you lower down the hips. Good, inhaling to rise. Nice and controlled here, so we're not rushing through. Again, you're engaging those glutes, helping to protect that lower spine. Keeping the head up towards the ceiling. Let's take 2 more breaths here. Exhale to lower. Good, one last time. And exhale to lower. Good, slowly bringing the knees in towards the chest. Having a little rock from side to side. Keeping a hold of that right knee now as you're hugging that in towards the chest. Let's straighten out that left leg in front of you onto the mat. Aiming to bring that right knee in towards the right elbow here. So we're working on opening up the hips just a little bit more. Maybe inhale as you move that right leg away from you. As you exhale, you find a little bit more room to tuck it further underneath that right armpit. Good. Take one more breath here. Holding that right knee with the right hand now, the left hip comes to rest. The left hand comes to rest on that left hip. As you exhale, we're opening up the hip towards the right hand side, kind of like a gate here. Good. Keeping that hand on the left hip to act as a kind of anchor here, so we're not tilting over towards the right. As a little bit of a test here, remove that right hand and just allow that right knee to hold itself where it is. Straight away I have to tighten my core and hold my glutes a little bit more, just to stop that leg from bouncing back in towards the centre. Good. Bringing that right leg back in here. Holding that right knee with the left hand, the right hand comes out beside you. Inhaling here, and as you exhale, let's twist over towards the left. Oh, got a lovely few clicks then. If it feels comfortable, you can look over that right shoulder, or perhaps you want to look up towards the ceiling. Doesn't matter if that right shoulder lifts, but that's just where we're headed, is if we want to keep that onto the mat. Giving into those exhales here. As you inhale, maybe the chest rises. As you exhale, feel it lower. Allow yourself to become heavy. We'll take 3 more breaths here as you inhale through the nose. Pause at the top and then sigh the breath out. Good. Awesome. Slowly pushing through the hands, using that core as you inhale, bringing yourself back in towards the centre. Ooh. Keeping that right knee where it is, bringing the left knee in towards to meet the right, and let's hug the knees in towards the chest. And again, have a little rock from side to side. So we'll take that little flow on the other side now. Keeping that left leg tucked in towards the chest, straightening out the right leg onto the mat, toes pointing up towards the ceiling. Inhale as you move the left leg away. As you exhale, bringing that left knee in towards the left shoulder. Maybe rolling the ankle here. Let's check in on the forehead, the jawline and behind the eyes. Release any tension that might be there. Good. Keeping hold of that left knee with the left hand. The right hand comes to rest onto the right hip. Inhale here. As you exhale, opening up that left leg towards the left hand side. I'm so much tighter on this side. I can really feel a difference when I do this here, opening up the hips either side. Relax the shoulders away from the ears. Taking 2 more breaths here. Good. Again, let's try for that little challenge here as you release the left hand, aiming to keep that left leg where it is. Straight away, again, my glute has to really work hard to keep that left knee out towards the side. Good. Slowly bringing that leg back in towards the centre, taking hold of it with the right hand. The left hand comes out beside you. Inhale here. As you exhale, folding over towards the right. Good. Looking over the left shoulder if that's comfortable. Good. Again, giving into those exhales. As you inhale, maybe the chest rises. As you exhale, let it fall, allowing yourself to become heavy. Let's take 3 deep breaths here. Sighing the breath out. Good. When you're ready, pushing through those hands and the feet. Using that core to bring yourself back in towards the centre. Or hug the knees in towards the chest. And again, have a little rock from side to side. Good. When you're ready, holding behind the back of the thighs here, we're going to roll up and down the spine to bring ourselves to a seat on the mat, so have a little play. Or if you want to just sit up, you can do, but rolling up and down the spine here, eventually, until you bring yourself a little bit higher, to come to a seat. Good. Coming onto your mat, let's cross the legs, sitting nice and tall. Let's cupcake the fingers. As we inhale to sit nice and tall, keeping the chin parallel towards the floor. As you exhale, walk forward, folding over the hips. Doesn't matter how far you go, maybe you're back up here, and maybe you're a little bit further. We want to keep that spine nice and long. Keep the chin and the chest proud, nice and lifted. If you're living in a slightly more open body, maybe you can drop down onto the forearms. For me, I'm going to stay up here today. Let's keep an eye on the tailbone here. We want to make sure that's not tilting forward. We want to stay nice and grounded in the tailbone, so maybe that means you have to back off slightly. Let's take a little wander over to the right hand side as we move the right hand and the left hand over towards the right. Again, keeping that spine nice and long still. So feeling that stretch along the left side of the body. Inhale, taking yourself back to the centre and over to the left. Good, slowly walking yourself back in, up and towards the centre. And let's uncross the legs. And the leg that was behind, now let's bring it forward, so you're crossing the legs again, but we're changing the cross of the legs here to even things out. We'll take that little stretch just to even things out, get a little bit more on the hips. So again, cupcaking the hands and the fingers, staying nice and tall on the fingers. Inhale to grow tall as you exhale, walking forward. Good. This time let's take a little wander over towards the left with the hands, staying nice and proud in the chest. As you exhale, back towards the centre, and then over towards the right. Good, slowly bringing yourself back in towards the centre. Let's walk the hands in and release those legs. So we're coming onto all fours now, bringing the hands underneath the elbows and underneath the shoulders, and the knees are underneath the hips. You have an option here to keep the toes tucked under or untucked, whichever you prefer. Taking the eyes of the elbows and facing them forward and staying nice and proud in the chest, so we're not dumping through, we're staying nice and lifted. Keeping that core tucked in, giving yourself a nice long spine to start with. As you inhale, lifting the chin and the chest, the tailbone rises. As you exhale, rounding the spine, dropping the chin towards the chest. Inhaling to come forward. As you move, you're really pushing the mat away here. Exhale to round the spine. Inhaling to come forward. And exhale to round. Moving with your breath here, so maybe you're a little bit quicker, maybe you're a little bit slower. Good. Let's take two more here, inhaling to come forward. Exhale to round. Lovely, one last time. Inhale forward and exhale round. Good, taking the big toes together, the knees nice and wide, sit back between the heels and take the arms out in front as you come into your child's pose. If you want to, you can rest your head on a pillow or a block, but just releasing yourself through the hips here. Allow that breath to settle. As you inhale, maybe feel the chest rise ever so slightly. As you exhale, lower down in between the hips. Good. Slowly as you inhale, we're coming up straight into a downward facing dog here as you tuck under the toes, lift that tailbone nice and high, giving yourself a generous bend in the knees. Maybe walking out the legs here, bending into one knee and then the other. Shaking the head, yes and no. Pushing in between the shoulders here. Pushing yourself up, supporting yourself on the mat. Keeping that core tucked in. Stepping the left foot in towards the centre of into the mat. Let's lift that right leg, coming into a three-leg dog. Keeping the hips level to start with. And then opening up the hips towards the right-hand side, bending that right knee, aiming to bring it towards the left glute. But we're staying forward with the shoulders. We want to make sure we're not twisting, open towards the right with the torso. If it feels good, you can roll the knee a little bit here, so you're opening up the hip. If you're going one way, be sure to even it out, going the other. Good. Back into your three-leg dog, nice and level hips. Replacing that right leg down onto the mat. Stepping it into the centre, let's lift the left leg. Keeping the hips level to start with in your three-leg dog. Opening up that left knee, opening up the left hip, bringing that left heel towards the right glute. Maybe rolling the knee, opening up the hip a little bit more. Good. Oh, I can feel my shoulders shaking here. Straightening that left leg, replacing that onto the ground. Now we're coming into a pigeon pose here. So my right foot is coming behind my left hand on the side of my right foot. Stepping back with my left leg. The right knee comes onto the mat. Now here, if you have a pillow or a block, anything like that, you can place it underneath the right hip to help support that here. Keeping that right foot nice and flexed, helping to protect that right knee. If you're living in a little bit of a tighter body, you can bring that right heel closer to the groin. Bringing that right knee forward is going to help ease the pose a little bit here. But finding your pigeon, releasing that left leg behind you, leveling out the hips here. Staying high on the tiptoes, on the fingertips. Inhale, lift the chin and the chest, nice and proud. As you exhale, let's walk forward. Maybe come onto the forearms. Maybe making a pillow with the hands, lowering yourself down onto the mat. Relaxing the shoulders here. Relax the jawline, the eyebrows. Good, we'll stay here for a little bit longer. Let's take 3 more breaths here, inhaling through the nose, sighing out the breath. Allow the torso to become heavy here, really breathing into the hips. Good, one last breath. Slowly moving nice and controlled. When you're ready, coming back up, supporting yourself here, up onto the fingertips, lifting the chin and the chest, tucking under those left toes, pushing through the hands. Let's come up into our downward facing dog again here. Taking a moment to feel the difference between that left and right hip. When you're ready, we'll take the pigeon pose on the left hand side. So now my left foot comes behind my right hand on the side of that left foot. Stepping back with the right leg, leveling out the hips here. High onto the fingertips to start with, flexing that left foot. Maybe placing a pillow or a block underneath that left glute. If you need to, bring that left heel closer towards the groin, bringing that knee in towards the centre. It's going to make things easier for you. Inhaling, lifting the chin and the chest. Exhale, let's take a walk forward. Finding your pigeon pose. Staying here, if you want to, dropping onto the forearms. So much tighter on this side. Good. If you want a little bit more, maybe making a pillow with the hands, supporting the head, releasing the shoulders. Again, we'll stay here for a little bit longer. So really using that breath here. Relaxing the forehead, the jawline, the eyebrows. Allow the upper body to become heavy. Let's take those 3 deep breaths again, inhaling through the nose. Sigh the breath out. Good, twice more. Awesome. Slowly, when you feel ready, pushing yourself up onto the fingertips here, nice and proud with the chin and the chest. Lowering yourself down on towards the left side. Bringing that right leg out towards the side. Bringing the soles of the feet together in front of you. Again, if you want to, supporting the head with a pillow as you lay down onto your mat. Having the hands resting on the belly here. Let's allow that breath to settle. Maybe bringing one hand to rest on the chest here and one to rest on the belly. Let's take those deep breaths as you inhale through the nose. Pause and then sigh out the breath. Allowing that breath to settle here. Taking the time to notice how you're feeling in your body, particularly the hips. How do they feel? As always, as I mentioned before, if you can, staying here for another couple of minutes, just really allowing yourself to have this time and wind down. Maybe hitting pause and just staying here for a little bit longer. What's the worst that could happen? But if you do feel ready, gently releasing the hands. Closing the knees here as you roll over to whichever side feels more comfortable. Keeping the eyes closed or giving yourself a nice soft gaze as you gently push yourself up to a seat. Crossing the legs here. Bringing the hands to the heart center, dropping the chin towards the chest. Sitting nice and tall. Thank yourself for giving you a little bit of you time. And thank you for practicing with me. Namaste.